Hi. Okay, so today, this video, I just wanted to talk about the diagnosis itself and, how that felt, I guess. As I said to you in the first video, I found out one day and had an appointment with the surgeon the very next day, which was just fantastic. As far as I was concerned, I just wanted everything to just move fast as it possibly could. I wanted the cancer out of me, and I think most people react that way. Because you've got this thing inside you that you know is going to kill you if you don't do something about it, and you just want it gone. So that was a relief knowing that we had that the next day. And when I was saying in the first video as well about how important it is to have a connection with the people that are going to be caring for you, this was my kind of introduction to learning how important that was, because when we had this appointment for the very next morning, and you can imagine how terrifying that is, and we sort of arrived there and we're sitting in the waiting room with all of the report and all of that sort of thing from the test. And the minute that, and might I just say too that my surgeon, who is just the most wonderful man, he wasn't even meant to be working this day, and he came into his office just to see me. So I just felt that knowing that right from the very start told me that this was a special person. And so we're sitting in the waiting room, and I was just a bundle of nerves, so was my husband. And the minute that the Dr. Green opened his door, I just started crying, because I guess it's kind of like, help me, like you're just sort of, please help me, I guess. I don't know any other way. I don't know any other reason why. You just look to this person as the person that you look to save you. And the minute that I saw him and I started crying, I felt relief. I can't really explain that any other way. I felt immense relief looking at him, and he's such a comforting man. His bedside manner is second to none, and he is also on the research team for breast cancer, on the board for research for breast cancer as well, so that was impressive and reassuring as well. And then the next thing was getting in there and him going through the type of breast cancer that I had, even though I hadn't had a lot of results, I hadn't had a lot of tests, at that stage. From just what he saw at that time, from the initial results, was garden variety breast cancer, and I guess if you're going to have any kind of cancer, garden variety breast cancer is probably the best one to have. So there was a lot of relief, I have to say, in that appointment. So we walked away from that feeling okay, and yeah. So basically from there, we booked surgery. We did tests. We did other tests prior to surgery. I was feeling a lot of hardness just up here. The lump was on my right breast, and just near the nipple. They say 8 o'clock. It's at 8 o'clock. And that's if you're looking at it from the front. And then I felt a lot of hardness right here. So this is, where the lymph nodes are. And he examined all of that on the day. So we had to go and have that tested, and we pretty much knew before we got the results back that they were going to be positive for cancer in the lymph nodes as well. So that was disappointing. But then but obviously you don't know how many it's in until you have your surgery. So we still had to wait, which is hard. The waiting is hard. Anybody will tell you that. But I felt so lucky that I didn't have to wait long for a lot of my, first of all, to go for the tests that I needed and to get the results. Everything just happened really, really fast. Within a week, I think it was. Yeah, within a week I had all my tests done and all the results were back. So that was really good. So the other test that I had to have was a full body scan and a bone density scan as well. All of those came back negative for cancers anywhere else in my body, which was obviously fantastic. And I was so relieved when I got the phone call from Dr. Green, that I cried, as most people probably would, I suppose. And then on doctor's orders, he told me to go and have a glass of wine. Anyway, which I did, which went against everything that I believed in, because this was a week after my diagnosis, and a lot had happened in that week, apart from just tests, which I'll go into in another video. So having a glass of wine wasn't something that I thought I would do, but I did. I had a glass of wine that day because I was celebrating just having breast cancer, which is unbelievable to think, but I was actually celebrating having breast cancer, because I guess I figured, well, you know, face up to it. I had 48 hours of a grace period, I guess, I gave myself initially to be in shock, and then after that I was just like an avalanche, and I was just full steam ahead. What can I do? I didn't want to just hand over all of the power for my healing to just be given to the doctors. I was not going to sit on my hands and do nothing and just leave it all up to them and keep doing everything that I'd been doing. I had to do something. I had to do something myself. So I did change a lot of things from probably the third day, I think it was, after diagnosis. So anyway, I still had a glass of wine, even though I haven't had any since then, and that was 5 months ago. So yeah, so basically, yeah, that was us. That was the diagnosis, and we scheduled surgery. That was also very nerve-wracking, but Dr. Green did a great job, and it was clear the margin around the lump, apart from 1 millimetre on one edge. So it did require me to go back in and just have a quick, you know, he went back in and just quickly took some more tissue about a week after that first surgery. Also during that first surgery, he took out 19 lymph nodes, and cancer was in 5 of them. That bumped my cancer up to a stage 3, unfortunately, which was very disappointing. Once again, 24 hours, oh well, it was 48 initially, but 24 hours, I guess, took me to get my head around those results and to just move on from that. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, I guess, so you just have to move forward. All it basically did was, knowing that it was in 5 lymph nodes, and it bumped it up to a stage 3, it reduced my good prognosis that I had originally of a 90 to 95% of a brilliant outcome. It reduced that down to 80%. That's still good numbers in my book. So initially I was upset, but then once I really thought about it and thought, okay, 80%, they're good numbers, and I knew I could do it. I know I can do it. With everything else that I'm doing to help my system and support my system through all of this, that's why I know I can do it. So anyway, until next time. So that's sort of in a nutshell, diagnosis and surgery and results. Yeah, and I recovered well from the surgery as well. And I believe also, I just wanted to point this out, I believe that my recovery from surgery was so good because of how well I looked after myself from the time I was diagnosed until surgery, which was 4 weeks. That was by choice as well, that I waited that 4 weeks because I felt that it was very important to really look after myself as best that I could, so that I did get through surgery really well. And with the type of cancer that I had, in my doctor's medical opinion, waiting an extra week, because originally I couldn't even get in for surgery until 3 weeks after diagnosis anyway, and waiting that extra week was not going to make one scrap of difference to the cancer. It wasn't going to do any more harm than it already had done to me, so I may as well take that extra week for nutrition and meditation and looking after myself, which I'm really glad I did. So yeah, so basically that's it for now, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.